Hello, Lorne Lanning, the
Hello.
creator of the Oddworld series.
Hey, how you doing?
So I sort of realised we're at GDC at the moment,
Yeah.
and despite my job, isn't going to sound great to be honest, I have a remarkably little understanding of what you guys actually do day to day. You've been doing game development for a while now, right? How long have you been a game developer?
22, it's 2016, 22 years.
All right, that sounds like a good
old are
chunky
you?
time. 25?
Yeah, so you were 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, right, in my mind, this is how game development works. I know at some point you guys probably have a concept, but you don't tell anyone about that to start
That's
with.
right.
You just begin.
You get in trouble when you do that.
Yeah. Something happens between that stage and you release your first teaser for what the game's going to be.
Yeah.
Later on, you may pop up at E3 and be like, here's some gameplay, doesn't it look good? And then you send out review copies and, maybe talk about sales later on. That's, from my perspective, that's how game development works. I imagine I'm missing some stuff that happens in between all of that.
Well, a lot of people think it's fun.
Yeah?
It's not.
It's not fun.
No, building games is not fun.
But why have you been doing it for 20 plus years?
I'm a masochist.
Right.
It comes with my nature. I want to do really complicated things that are really ungratifying and age me faster, as you can tell.
Excellent.
No, really. Like every time I see game developers say, "Oh, game development's just so much fun," I'm like, "Oh, you're so full of shit."
Really?
I mean, oh, come on, man. Game development is painful. I mean, look at these guys. They're all tired. You know, they're all out of shape because we don't get time to go to the gym and stuff.
Sure.
They're working incredible hours. I mean, don't get into game development if you want a regular life.
Sure.
Like really,
Okay.
you know, seriously.
So
You're, on average, my career has been a really slow week is 40 hours. Really slow week.
right.
The hardest week might be up to 85, 90 hours.
That doesn't leave a lot of time for other stuff.
No,
I should think.
No. I remember because I knew the guys at Bad Robot. I know those guys.
Of course.
And they made this show called What About Brian?
Right.
It was about a game designer.
Yeah.
And I said, I said, I'm cracking up at your game designer. You got something wrong. They said, what's that? I said, he's got a girlfriend.
It doesn't work
really
90 hours weeks.
Yeah, if she's not in game development, she probably doesn't want you.
All right.
You know?
Okay.
So it's difficult.
Yep.
And you're working for hopefully less than years, but in our case years, on something that doesn't feel good most of the time. So you're trying to get to that point where it feels good, and then you're shipping a product that works well. But most of the time, it was terrible. I mean, not bad.
Sure.
Terrible,
All
really
right.
bad.
So why do you do it? Why stick with it for that long? Is the payoff at the end? Is launching a game like the best feeling in the world or something? Like what?
No, it's usually total panic, because what you've done is you've spent lots of money,
Right.
And sometimes it's other people's money. Like fortunately now it's our money, so I don't have someone saying, "Are you going to lose my money?" And
Sure.
I used to, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we did. So you're usually burnt out by the end of the project. You've done. They call it the sprint at the end, and sometimes the sprint is lasting the entire project.
Yeah.
Like the original Abe's Exodus that we made. That was a sprint from beginning to end.
Right.
And which is really bad for your health, and your culture. But sometimes you got to do it. And in the course of doing it, what's gratifying is you're working with creative people, and you're working with people that have a lot of passion. You're working with artists. You're working with different mindsets.
Sure.
And you're designing. So designing, I love. Character designing. Lighting is one of my favorite things. Doing the visual effects, like. All that stuff, there's fun. I don't mean to be too down on the process.
Sure. Yeah, no. Can I mention that I just saw you tweaking an image? I won't say what the image was, but as I arrived here, you were working on something.
Yeah.
And you're really into that. I can see, like you care.
Yeah, we
tremendously
care
about the
we do.
details.
I love what we make.
Sure.
I wish you could just think about it and hit a button and it came out. But it's
Right.
kind of like growing food. You don't want to do the farming, but you
Sure.
want to eat the vegetables when they're grown.
I hear you.
And then on the backside, you usually, by the end of the project, you're usually terrified that people aren't going to like it.
Sure.
And every problem that's left in it, and you're insecure because you
Waiting
didn't
for
have
people
enough
to
time
find
to
them.
address and tune it to exactly what you want. And then you're listening to independent sources that aren't familiar with it. I mean, you need to, because you're so close to it. You might think, oh, this is really important and we must fix it. And no one else is even noticing
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
And then you're like, no, that's fine. We don't need to fix it. And that's the thing everyone notices. So it's this kind of schizophrenic dance of, are we making the right decision?
Sure.
Right?
One of the things I wanted to ask actually, as you talked about that kind of feedback after launch, one of the things that must have changed over like your 20 plus year career is the fact that people can do that with such ease now. Like someone playing your game can reach out via Twitter or whatever it is and be like, hey Lorne, playing one of your games, it's pretty good, man, cheers. Or they can be like, I just found this bug, why haven't you fixed it yet, you jerk. Like, that's probably a polite message for Twitter, actually.
Or they say, why did you lie to us and claim that this game was coming and you never shipped it? I'll kill you.
Sure, that's more like it. That's more like
That's
it.
why I don't read most of the Twitter comments. It's like, oh man, I don't want to find that.
Has that changed game development? Like that, the communication with the people that actually play your games?
In a great way. Because before, you really built a 5-course meal, totally in a vacuum. No one's tasting it, no one's sampling it. You got marketing departments might be doing it, testers might be doing it, but everyone's got a different bias. And the audience is where you're going to have 100,000 people playing it all of a sudden. You're going to find all the problems. So with the audience along the way, meaning we were like, what should we build next? They told us. Right? And so we said, should we do this, this, this? And they said, do that. That was new and tasty. Well, if we do that well, what do you want us to do next if it was these choices? And they say, do that again on Exodus. And we're like, okay, that's important because we wouldn't have thought that. We wouldn't have thought to make new and tasty.
Right.
Like we because we're seeing the audience responses over time, they're telling us we want more of your classic platforming game, an element, a pretty boisterous element. And so that helps us along the way, right? Then we can do a press release like we did on Monday morning, and we find out, is the spark there? Are we doing it right? Like, we'll put out a little campaign, we're almost showing nothing, but we see that the audience is getting really excited about it. And we want to be able to show more things earlier, but we don't want to be in a position where we have to go, we got to get that great trailer together before we can show anything.
Sure.
And so, you learn more from the audience faster, you get different feedback, you have to learn how to filter it. Some people are just going to be always negative, and some people are going to be always positive, so you got to find in between where you have the greatest realm of objectivity, and then be humble and learn from it. So I think it's changed the game tremendously. And then if you add like Twitch and YouTube,
you can actually watch people playing.
Now,
those
what's happening? Those channels are more important for exposure on a game than airtime and commercials.
Sure. Yeah. Right? Absolutely. Okay, so New and Tasty was almost 2 years ago now. It launched.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to at the moment? Like, I imagine you don't stop after that game hits. Obviously, you've announced your next project, and you're kind of showing little bits of it. But what's going on with you?
It took us forever to get the rest of the SKUs out that we promised. Wii U and PS Vita.
Yep.
And that's not smart. It's not good business.
Right.
But at least we came through with a promise to deliver great product to those platforms.
Yep.
And then the rest of the time we had to go, well, on this project, so New and Tasty was basically the remake of Abe's Odyssey. And then we asked the audience, if we do well with that, what do you want us to do next? And they said,
Exodus.
And we said, okay, but Exodus, when we looked at it, we said, Exodus is not the script we want to make, but it had the spine that we like. Soulstorm Brewery, the brew has this effect. So we're completely rewriting it. Like in New and Tasty, we said Abe's Odyssey was kind of a classic fable. And we don't want to change it. It's like changing a Dr. Seuss, It had rhyme and it did these things. And Exodus was different. It was done in 9 months. We had to get the script done really fast. A lot of things. And it had a condition which I feel was like sequelitis. Like you saw the first one was great, and the second one, it's those characters and all. And people would say, twice the gameplay, half the heart.
Right.
And I was like, they're right. They're right. So let's fix that.
Sure.
Twice gameplay, twice the heart.
Cool. Well, Lorne, thank you very much. I realize you are busy and you're actually still tweaking.
Yeah, so that's like
right
classic,
now.
Right? Like we're refining images.
I found you in a hotel at GDC working on your game.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And if
that's
you
what
found,
game development
if you found
is.
me at home in the bathroom, I'd be working on the game.
Okay.
And on the hot tub, I'd be working on the game via an iPad.
So maybe that's the answer to that first question then. What is game development like? It's just...
It consumes your
pretty
life.
Pretty constant.
It
Right.
consumes your life.
All right, man. Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having us on.
Awesome.
All right.
Hi, I'm Ollie Welsh from Eurogamer, and I'm here at GDC with Sony's Shuhei Yoshida.
Hi, I'm Shuhei Yoshida from Walrus Studio Sony Computer Entertainment.
So, Shu, I'll get to PlayStation VR in a second, but before we get to that, there's one other topic I want to talk to you about today.
Yeah.
This week, Microsoft announced that it would allow cross-network play on Xbox Live. Will Sony open up PlayStation Network to developers who want to do this?